C-section.
Yes.
And you were in there, Dustin. And what was that experience like when John Carter was born?
Yeah, he came out first, and they set him on the table and wrapped him up fully in gauze and stuff.
A baby blanket.
Yeah.
At that moment, I was more concerned about John Carter. I think I just stared at this table. I thought, that's my son. And it was very, I personally was so scared to get attached to Elliott because I was so scared to lose him. So I think I kind of separated, blocked that out.
So Elliott went to the NICU from there, and you weren't able to go see him for
24 hours.
I went straight to the NICU, and I don't know, I was probably up there for a couple hours, came back down, and they were just bringing him, John Carter, into the room. And they probably left him there for maybe 4 hours or so. But he was just as normal looking as you can be, just a little baby.
1 pound,
fully
13
formed.
ounces.
You could tell what he looked like.
Oh yeah,
Yes, he had fingernails, toenails. They put a hat on him. We didn't take his hat off. I still regret that, not taking his hat off.
You wish you would have just looked at him from head to toe.
I just kept him.
How horrible it was though that Elliott was born so soon. It was such a blessing for us that we got to see John Carter, and we're able to, just have a memory of him.
So that being with him during that time was very special to you. And the way that you were able to spend as much time as you needed with him was very important.
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't rush us.
Family met
They let
him. Everybody held him.
Did you take pictures of
Yep.
him?
A photographer from Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep was there. She came in and took pictures. And at the time, I remember thinking, this is so weird. But I am so glad. I mean, those pictures and his footprints are all we have of that day. I mean, physical.
Right.
My sister came from Oklahoma and just kind of took over. She did everything. She was awesome. And then they sent people from our church, and I literally just I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. The one thing we did have a hard time with is with the staff. When my sister and mom got there, they were like, okay, what do we do with his body? And they were like, we don't know. And nobody really knew what to do. Like, if we wanted to bury him, I wanted him buried.
So you were trying to decide if you were going to do a funeral and whether or not you called the funeral home and all that, and you didn't really feel like there was somebody who could walk you through that process at the hospital.
Yes.
I just think it would be nice if they had some options for you on what to do. That was one of the options. For us, the biggest thing was for people to treat him like he was a baby, not a miscarriage, and we wanted to have options on what to do with that.
They just kept saying, it's your decision, it's your decision.
But you'd never been in that position.
No.
And you didn't know what your choices were.
Somebody through our church owned a funeral home, and they were just so amazing to work with. And then they came.
We wanted the funeral home to come get him, and I can just remember looking out the door, the hallway, then in the hospital, and seeing the guy from the funeral home, walking through, and that was, crazy. Just
not a good feeling.
Not a good feeling that he's leaving.
I couldn't handle it.
Because every day, every minute that passed, Katie was like, he's getting further and further from me.
I couldn't do. They had to take him from me. I couldn't. They took him, and our families, I'm not sure who, my sister, my mom, maybe your mom, went and picked out a casket. They picked out the casket. I wanted him buried in one of the first outfits I got for the boys were these matching, the softest jammies. I've put all my babies in them. And so I had, I knew I wanted him buried in that. And so I think they took care of that. They planned the funeral. My brother-in-law is a pastor, so he was able to actually bury him. And I remember them saying, "What date do you want to do it?" I couldn't do it till I got out of the hospital, and I don't know. I couldn't answer any questions.
I was so glad that we did
But I was
the funeral and all.
Yes.
It was such a good way to show respect for him.
Yes, that he
was a real
baby.
Right. Do you feel like having your family do everything was a blessing? I mean, do you feel like most people or a lot of people might not have this type of family support that you guys did?
Yes.
Yeah, because our minds were so focused on not just losing the baby, but what was going up in that NICU was crazy. I mean, every second that he was up there, something could happen. So, our focus was up in that NICU, and it was hard to do both. The doctor came back down after the delivery and sat with us for a while, and answered any questions we had. He also had, I think, 2 or 3 kids that were in the NICU previously, so he was, had a lot of insight on what to expect.
Did you have somebody that came and said, "I'm here to support you with the baby that you lost specifically"?
Not until the 4th day she came down.
Okay, and that was the chaplain.
She was very, very sweet. I just think I don't remember.
It was just, there could be a little more like grief counselor, the pamphlets of what to do from here, because you're about to get released from the hospital and you have no idea what to do. There's some steps and suggestions on support networks or groups to be in would be very, very helpful for somebody in a position.
So you felt a little lost and you would not have been able to figure it all out, but your family stepped in and kind of took over.
Family and church, really.
We had the funeral,
I think, the day after you got out of the hospital.
We had it at a gravesite. It was private. I did not want. I am an extreme introvert, and so I didn't reach out to. I didn't want people there.
Keep it small, family. We did it at the Pinnacle Memorial Garden, which is a great place.
And it was
it's beautiful.
They have an infant area, so he was the first one. Another.
And that was a big deal. Who takes infants? Because not everyone in these grave sites takes infants.
Yes.
So there was only like 2 to even choose from.
Yes, that's right. Another thing that we did that helped was we had an obituary written for him and printed, and I keep a memory box, and that's very real to me that we did the funeral and the obituary. That was very helpful to me.
Having a place to go to see him though is so nice. We kind of feel like from the outside he never was alive. So people are gonna view this strangely.
It's a different kind of loss than if he had been born.
Like you've run through guilt and you shouldn't feel this way, or you shouldn't be having a funeral, but it's huge for us, and it's been a blessing just to have a place to go see him. Some people don't know what to do, so they don't do anything. And it's not like you want someone to do a bunch of stuff for you, but just show up and call just to see, are you okay? And for the first week, you get a lot of those phone calls. The month later, everyone expects you to be back to normal. So I just reach out to people and ask them how they're doing.
Kindness on holidays and dates, and
if you could tell people who haven't lost a child something that you wish that they could know or understand, what would you tell them?
Be patient with the parent. It's a very long,
give them grace.
Ugly, angry process, and just show up.
So 3 years after this happened, would you say to someone who didn't understand or know, would you say, it's been 3 years, I'm doing okay? Or would you say, it's been 3 years. It seems like yesterday. Or would you say both?
A little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, those first few weeks I wanted to die. I don't feel like that anymore. Like if I wasn't suicidal, but I did want to die.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad the pain was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not always going to be like that. There are still some days where it's very painful, but it gets better, I think.
So you said earlier, it's not the first thing you think of
Yes.
when you wake up in the morning, like it was.